at Underwood Creek. It's phase one of a rehabilitation project. Very important key stream in the area because it's linking some very important stormwater practices with rehabilitation techniques. Dave, can you tell us a little bit more about what's going on with the stormwater and rehabilitation and how those have been linked together?
Yeah, sure. This is the Underwood Creek. It's a major tributary of the Menominee River, and the Menominee River is one of our first rivers that we did a lot of watershed and flood management planning and construction work on. We have removed a series of concrete lined channels downstream from this point on the main stem, the Menominee. By removing the concrete here, we hope to have more connectivity with the Menominee through Underwood Creek. Just downstream from here is a diversion structure that's being put in. That's going to allow us to take out the concrete upstream of that diversion structure now, and when that diversion structure goes online, we'll be able to move the concrete downstream of that diversion structure. And the target species being northern pike, which will allow that northern pike and other species to move up the stream, perhaps for forage, and maybe not all their life cycles, but some of them is that they can use it for foraging.
Tom, too, this site for stormwater is very unique, and what makes it that way from the regional planning side of things?
Well, this project has been key on a couple of levels. One has been in the timing, because we've been working with several communities, including developing non-governmental agencies as well as municipalities, and helping to illustrate how you can accomplish flood mitigation and habitat enhancements at some fisheries and water quality at the same time. And this site really helps to demonstrate how to balance those two objectives, which you can see through the meandering stream and the substrates that were placed. And you can see a lot of erosion control here on site, which is a big component of that. And as well as we're able to really open up this whole floodplain. And this is actually part of a staged flood mitigation project. This is step one, I believe, Dave, right?
Correct.
Then this flows into an overbank area.
And one of the things I think that's critical about this site, as opposed to some of the other sites you've seen in urban areas, we had county parkland or non-developed county parkland available to us to use that space to give the river room. And I think that's one of the key characteristics that we try to do in our flood mitigation projects and also in our straight up rehabilitation projects, is get to remove the concrete. You really need to give the river more room. And where we can do that in a site like this, you can see the space that we're allowed to really reconnect the floodplain, the riparian corridor, with that stream. And that's very important to a lot of aquatic organisms, but also to some of the terrestrial organisms that need to be part of that stream.
Yeah, so this is a case where not only can we talk about fish and their habitat, but also the creatures that use the river corridor area. When there was a particular species here, a snake species?
Correct. The Butler's garter snake is a state-threatened species. Behind us is a snake exclusion fence. The snakes that were on site here were removed and placed outside of that exclusion area. Once we have done and finished with all of our construction work, this fence will be removed and the snakes will be allowed to come in, and we think it will help enhance the population. As a threatened snake, it's not so much the population of the snake, but it's actually the loss of habitat. That's why it is an endangered species.